Hello, everyone. My name is Steve Rector, and this is my submission for the ID Tech opportunity. The lesson today is going to be about inheritance in C Sharp and Unity. But first, I'll tell you a little bit about me. I love dogs, if you couldn't already tell. I have the cutest dog ever named Lily. You might see her sleeping in the background from time to time, but she's not home right now. She's at the park. I've been involved in the tech industry for 6 years, both on an educational, learning and also within a company called Datadog, where I was in technical solutions, both as an individual contributor and a manager for a few years. I have a psychology degree from UC Santa Barbara, and I'm currently studying at Oregon State to get my full computer science degree as well. Go Beavers. And perhaps most importantly, I love playing and making games. I have a 2D platformer published to the Apple Store called Rise and Grind, and it's themed around, you guessed it, coffee, another passion of mine. So for this quick lesson, aiming at ages 13 through 18, it's an intermediate curriculum, and the subject, as mentioned, is inheritance. So, just to get us started, what is inheritance? Inheritance is a procedure where one class can inherit the attributes and methods of another class. The class being inherited from is called the parent, and the class inheriting from the parent is called the child of the parent. Inheritance is one of the most important components of object-oriented programming, basically programming using classes where everything's an object. One of the main values of inheritance is the ability to increase code reusability. So that is a surface level touch point on what it is, but how does it work? Well, thanks for asking. In order to see how this works, we are going to use an example using the C# programming language with Unity. I wonder what kind of example we should use for this, though. I know. Dogs! So, what we're going to do here is switch over to Unity. So what you see here is a little scene that I have set up. This silhouette up here is the parent dog, and then we have a cute little wizard dog over here that might be capable of some magic, and then we have a robo dog that might be able to, do some math or something like that. We also have C# open here, and we have, as you can see, a dog script, a wizard dog script, and a robo dog script. So to get us started, we're going to just focus on the parent dog. So this parent dog has this dog script on it, right? I'm going to switch back over to C#. Looking into this dog script, the first thing you'll notice is that it inherits from mono behavior. So this already is doing inheritance in its own way. Unity does this. There's a lot that goes into mono behavior, but for the sake of this lesson, just basically think about it like for a script to be able to be attached onto a game object in Unity, it needs to inherit from mono behavior. So here's our dog, and some quick definitions here as well as we go down so you don't get too potentially lost in the weeds. The protected keyword lets the children of a parent class use that protected member, so any child of the dog can use the bark bark string right here. The virtual keyword lets the children of a parent class override the functionality of that method as needed. So, there's a typo. So if a dog child barks a little differently than most, we can override that behavior if we need to, which we might see a little bit later on. So, going down into the code, we'll see, as mentioned, the bark bark string, and then in the start method, which runs whenever the game starts, it will call the bark method. And in the bark method, you'll see it logs a string to the console, and it basically grabs the game object's name it's a part of, and then it's going to say that bark bark string. So first things first, let's see if that works. Going back to Unity, the wizard dog and the robo dog scripts are deactivated, so it's just going to be the dog script for now. Press play. And lo and behold, dog goes bark bark. Cool. Stop playing there. So we have a dog parent class that's barking, right? The reason this is valuable, and as mentioned, the lack of, or being able to reuse code, is because if this dog parent barks and these dogs are different types of dogs, then those dogs should also be able to bark, right? Because they are just types of dogs. So, with that in mind, with the wizard dog, I'm going to go ahead and turn this script on, and then we'll go over to the wizard script. Don't worry about this too much. This is just for some cool effects later. They're called particle systems to make little shiny things happen in the screen when you want to. Update method gets called every frame. And then this wizard dog also has its own behavior where it can cast a spell when the spacebar is pressed. But for now, we want to focus on this. The wizard dog is inheriting from the dog. So, as we remember, the dog has this start method that calls bark. And the bark method does this, right? We don't even see the start method in here because we know that the wizard dog already has this behavior because it is a type of dog. So just to prove this, let's go back to Unity. Make sure the script is on. And what do we think is going to happen when I click play? If you guessed that both dogs are going to bark, it's a pretty good guess. So let's confirm that. The wizard dog goes bark bark, and the dog goes bark bark. So there we go. The wizard dog is a type of dog and it's inheriting, so that dog, the wizard dog, can also bark. But this is where things get even cooler. This wizard dog, as we talked about, has the ability to cast a spell. The original dog is just a dog, no magic. Still awesome, but no magic. So this dog, the parent dog, cannot do this. But we wanted to make sure the wizard dog could. So, when we go back to Unity, if I press play again, we'll see the dogs bark again. But if I press the spacebar, we'll see that the wizard dog can shoot a little bit of magic to the screen. As you can see, it only goes above the wizard dog's head, not the parent dog's head, because the wizard is the only type of dog that can shoot magic out. Cool. So, I'm going to stop press and play here and go to the final example, which is our robo-dog. Turn on that script. You see here, it says waiting. That is the default text that I've put in. And we'll go and check out the robo-dog script. So, as mentioned before, you can use virtual methods to override behaviors. So, for example, here, we remember that the parent dog barks, and all dogs bark, so that's great. But this is a robo-dog, a robot dog. So, not only does it bark normally, it probably needs to do something a little like robot-y at the same time, if that makes sense. So, what I'm doing here is overriding the bark method that we originally saw in the dog parent. And just as a reminder, the robo-dog is also inheriting from dog. This line here basically says to do the behavior that the parent does and then do its own behavior. So we want the robo-dog to bark like a normal dog, but also to be able to give its own robotic flair to it. So given this and this string that I put in here, what do we think is going to happen when I press play? If your thought was that the robo-dog might have a little extra robotiness, then you would be correct. So let's check it out to confirm. Robo-dog goes bark. Robo-dog also says beep equals MC squared boop boop. And then the other dogs bark too. So in this example, we were able to use the dog's original behavior and then use that override behavior we talked about and add on our own little robotic flavor to the robo-dog. And the last quick thing that we'll go over is another custom method that can be added onto the RoboDog that, a robotic dog should be able to do some math, right? So we added this calculate. If the return button is pressed, it should do some calculation for us. So just to confirm, we'll go back to Unity. We'll see that the RoboDog is waiting to do some math. And if I press enter, 2 plus 2 equals 4. There we go. So we've got the calculating RoboDog, the magic wizard dog, and it's all possible because they inherited from their parent, a normal dog. So that's just a little bit about how inheritance works. I hope this was useful, and happy to answer any questions that anyone may have. Thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to hearing back. Thanks. Bye-bye.